Time travel, carousels, waltz, and a melody. What do they all have in common? They all play a role together in Howl's moving castle. Here's my explanation on how it all fits together. There's a common theory going around insinuating that Howl always knew who Sophie was when they meet on the alleyway in the beginning of the movie. Given that we see his rim shimmer, and later on we do know what that's for. The natural conclusion is that Howl was really just looking for her. In this video, I wanna go a little bit deeper and explain where's the link to all of this by analyzing the masterful piece of Joe Hisaishi's Merry-Go-Round of Life. More specifically, the main melody, and how both Sophie and Howl have their own versions of it, and how that aids the storyline move forwards. So, how do we tie all of these elements together? The concept in the movie is introduced properly at the end, when Sophie enters through the magic door, presumably when it's on the black exit, using the ring that will guarantee your safe return. In the original book, we discover that Howl uses that door to go to his hometown in Wales. Yes, he is from Wales. In the movie, it's not entirely clear if this is where the door leads. Instead, we have a mix, a new door exit specifically made for Sophie that leads to a beautiful flower valley, where we also see Howl explaining that this is where he studied when he was young. Doing research into these flowers, I found that they could be a variety of real flowers that are common in Wales. And it is here that Sophie sees a young Howl making a deal with Calcifer, giving away his heart as Sophie from the future shouts. The main song of the movie is called Merry-Go-Round of Life, and merry-go-round is another way of saying carousels, one of these. And the phrase merry-go-round of life is making a reference to how can life be cyclical, seeming to go round and round in circles. We keep looking for something new that will get us moving forward, and this is an obvious metaphor for the way that carousels are always doing the same, moving in circles. Tied with carousels is the tradition of the machines literally having music. More specifically, an organ band, which is a mechanical instrument that was frequently used to play songs along the ride. We can see that waltz was one of the most popular things to play in them. So it's not entirely a coincidence to have a song that is a proper waltz, called in a way that makes a reference to a cyclical storytelling device, such as it is traveling back in time. The last piece of the puzzle we need to connect is the leitmotif, which is a short, recurrent musical phrase associated with a particular person, place, or idea. The concept of connecting a musical phrase to a specific thing has always existed. Sometimes in a pragmatic way, and sometimes, like in this case, in a metaphorical way. In this movie, Joe Hisaishi composed a two-part melody in the style of a waltz that could be either attached for Sophie or for Howl. The chord structure of the melody goes something like this. That one is the one for Sophie, and the variation that one goes for Howl. We can clearly see this in the beginning of the movie. The melody begins and we are presented to Sophie making hats and its surroundings.
Sophie-san,
and as soon as Howl's name is pronounced by the sisters, the melody is interrupted and we go to the variation.
行くわよ。あ、待って。これおかしくない？見て、ハウルの城が来てる。ハウル？どこどこ？ほら、あんなに近くに。いやーね。ハウル、町に来てるのかしら。
And when they finally meet, the track of the movie that is played is called A Walk on the Skies, playing the melody in a waltz-like tempo as they literally dance with both of their melodies. For us to really understand the idea of leitmotif in this movie, it's important to know exactly what is the difference between Sophie's and Howl's melody. We have a 16-bar phrase with two sections, A and B. A has one idea repeated twice using the notes from the same one chord and the contour of the melody going up and down in both cases. B uses the same concept but it's just one long melody. In Sophie's case, section A has a simplified rhythm versions going up and the same in section B with the notes going down. In contrast to this, Howl's versions has 8 notes going up in section A and then we have a big implied change of meter in section B as well as 8 notes. Here's a clear example in the movie for Howl's melody. And for a masterfully crafted variation, we're gonna take a closer look to the track You're in Love that appears on the movie right after the scene that we just saw, when Sophie tucks in the old witch to bed, as she says. As realization falls down upon her, she turns around and the first chord appears. C, G, D and B flat, a sus2 chord with a minor 7th. It doesn't get more ambiguous than that. Then Grandma Witch states, and we hear the chord B flat minor 7th, sus2. Again, the same chord, just one tone down below, putting even more weight into Sophie's back. The melody begins as she literally sighs and lowers her shoulders. Here we can see a clear sign of brilliancy. We watch Sophie revealing her real feelings to others, clearly thinking of Howl. And the melody immediately turns to play his theme when she says, but, and this never happens, the chord progression continues to be the ones for Sophie, but the melody is the other one, where Howl's versions have a 2-chord bar here to arrive at this E flat, then this E6, and then finally rest on this D minor. Sophie's chords are G minor, C minor, then F, and it rests on B flat major. And then, when the moment has gone, the melody returns to be the one for her. In short, we have a shared melody with variations for our two main characters, which is being used as a device to connect them. in a movie with a time travel aspect to it, and the name of the song makes allusion to all of this by being called Merry-Go-Round of Life. If you like my work, you can get a full video lesson to play the entire song here. There is also a full guitar book that has every piece that I cover from Ghibli so far. All of the links are also in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and until the next time!